Okay, I think this is an important topic to cover on Syriana Analysis since we focus on the Syrian war, right? So between 2011 and 2017, there was a covert CIA operation called Timber Sycamore, and the CIA tried to overthrow the Syrian government, and this was the costliest CIA covert operation in the history of the agency. And when the regime change war failed, the United States changed its strategy when Trump came to power. And in 2017, he ended the CIA covert operation, and he replaced it with another strategy, and that is one to strangle the Syrian people through unilateral coercive measures, the sanctions, draconian ones, and through by occupying certain spots in Syria, whether through directly American forces and through proxies. And the proxies here are mainly the SDF, Syrian Democratic Forces. It's a big umbrella, mainly the YPG, and also other clans and tribes, mostly who were anti-ISIS forces, right? So in this regard, we know, now I will share with you the map of control over Syria. So screen 2, share. So as you can see, this is the map of control over Syria. And this green spot, the Americans occupy it because they want to block the trade routes between Syria and Jordan, which is here, and Syria and Iraq, which is here. But most importantly, they want to block the access of Syria to Iran, because Iran is sending goods through this route into Syria, so they block it. And now Iran has replaced it. I think they come to here, which is Al-Qaim. And if you remember, the first thing Biden did when he came to power, he bombed this border crossing because in the Abu Kamal area, because they don't want Iran to send any goods to Syria. But most importantly, the United States occupies the yellow area. And the yellow area, as you can see, it's full of oil fields. Surprise, surprise. And the United States occupies 50% of Syria's oil and gas fields. And Syria is highly dependent, or the Syrians are highly dependent on fuel and gas, first in their factories and companies, etc. So for manufacturing, and two, for transportation. Syria doesn't have a big infrastructure for public transportation. People mostly use their private cars and other vehicles to go to work and to go to anywhere between the cities or inside the city itself. So, and also for cooking and also for heating. So when you deprive Syria of its oil and gas fields, it will be difficult for them to live their lives normally. And secondly, this area is full of the Syrian wheat, and the United States occupies the wheat. Sometimes they burn the fields, and sometimes they send poisonous seeds to the farmers, which happened, and the United States sent it through the US aid agency in order to destroy the agricultural sector completely in this area of Syria. Now, the contact line between Syria and the American forces and their proxies, this is the red, the Syrian Army, this is the yellow, which is the American forces, is the Euphrates. This is the Euphrates River, and as you can see, this is all the contact line between the United States and Syria. So if Syria wants to go to the other side, to the yellow side, they have to cross the river. And it is, I think, very difficult mission to do it. First, you have to send big reinforcement to pass through this desert and arrive here. And also you have to bring your engineering team and also bridges to cross, right? So maybe the United States bombs them before they arrive here. So you never know, because the Americans do not want to give this part back to Syria. In any ways, Syria, however, they declared that they have done joint drills in cooperation with the Russian forces. It says an army formation in cooperation with Russian forces carry out drills with live ammunition. And when you watch the reportage, the video reportage that they posted, and see the type of drills, the training, and the ammunition that they were used, and the engineering teams who were there, you can, you realize, you don't have to be genius, that this is about crossing the river. So where is Syria going to cross the river? They don't have to cross a river in Idlib. They don't have to cross any river in the north. The only place they may cross a river is to the eastern shores of the Euphrates. So this is about the United States. And it surprises me, to be honest, because of the timing, which is now during the war in Ukraine and the proxy war between NATO and the United States. But they posted this video. I will show you first the video. I added Arabic subtitles for you, so you can also understand what's going on. And please just focus on the drills and what types of weapons being used, not only on the subtitles. And I added the subtitles. It's my personal work, and I'm not a military expert, but I tried my best to translate as accurate as possible. So I hope you appreciate that.
بتوجيه من السيد الرئيس الفريق بشار الأسد القائد العام للجيش والقوات المسلحة، وبحضور السيد العماد عبد الكريم محمود إبراهيم رئيس هيئة الأركان العامة، والسيد العماد أول ألكسندر تشايكو قائد القوات الروسية العاملة في سوريا، وعدد من كبار ضباط الجيشين السوري والروسي، نفذ أحد تشكيلات قواتنا المسلحة وبالتعاون مع القوات الروسية العاملة في سوريا مشروعا تكتيكيا عملياتيا بالذخيرة الحية، شاركت فيه مختلف أنواع القوات البرية والجوية والبحرية وصنوف القوات والقوات الاختصاصية في ظروف تحاكي في طبيعتها المعركة الحقيقية. حيث قدم قائد القوات المنفذة شرحا مفصلا على الخريطة عن فكرة المعركة المتضمنة الهجوم على نقاط محصنة للعدو مع اقتحام مانع مائي من الحركة للوصول إلى الضفة المقابلة وتحريرها. بعد انتهاء التمهيد الناري الذي شارك فيه الطيران الحربي وحوامات الدعم الناري وصواريخ عملياتية أرض بالإضافة إلى المدفعية وراجمات الصواريخ ووسائط نارية أخرى، بدأ الهجوم وتقدمت طلائع القوات بشجاعة واندفاع نحو المانع المائي وبتغطية نارية كثيفة، وقامت بتدمير العدو على مشارف البحيرة مؤمنة تقدم القوى الرئيسة وسحق العدو. بعد ذلك قامت مجموعات المهام الخاصة بالبدء بعبور البحيرة، حيث تم تدمير نقاط العدو المحصنة على الضفة الأخرى وعلى الجزر الموجودة ضمن البحيرة، كما تقدمت وحدات الهندسة ونصبت الجسور فوق المعابر التي دمرها العدو لإعاقة تقدم قواتنا. وتم توجيه ضربات جوية مركزة من الطيران الحربي وصواريخ أرض وتخطيط نظام التأثير الناري المركب الذي أدى إلى تدمير الوسائط المعادية والتغطية النارية لتقدم قواتنا المهاجمة. ثم عبرت الدبابات المخاضات المائية ووصلت إلى المعابر، وتم الاستيلاء عليها واحتلال رؤوس الجسور لتأمين زج القوى الرئيسة بطريقة الزج المتتابع للقوات والتمسك بالمواقع المحررة وتعزيزها بغية تجنيب القوات الخسائر ودفع العدو للقيام بهجوم معاكس لتدمير احتياطاته. كما تضمن المشروع مشاركة مختلف أنواع الطيران الحربي الذي قام بالتأثير الناري على قواعد إطلاق الصواريخ المعادية واحتياطات العدو في العمق وأنساقه الثانية ومقرات قيادته، بالإضافة إلى قيام حوامات الدعم الناري بدعم القوات المهاجمة وتدمير الإنزالات المعادية وتأمين الإنزالات الجوية الصديقة ودعم تقدمها. كما تضمن المشروع إنزالا جويا على الضفة المقابلة وعلى بعض الجزر داخل البحيرة، وعمليات إبرار للعتاد من الحوامات، وإنزال مظلي تحت تغطية نارية كثيفة، وإخلاء الجرحى والأسرى من الماء بالحوامات، وإجراء عمليات البحث والإنقاذ. وقد تعرضت قواتنا لهجوم معاكس معاد مفترض ورمي كثيف من قبل العدو بمختلف الوسائط النارية، حيث تمكنت قواتنا من صد الهجوم المعادي وتكبيد العدو خسائر فادحة أجبرته على التراجع والانسحاب. كما تمكنت قوات دفاعنا الجوي من تدمير الطيران المسير والصواريخ المعادية في الجو، ثم تابعت قواتنا تنفيذ مهامها حتى تحقيق كامل الأهداف المخططة.
So this is the video reportage, I would say, that was posted by the Syrian Defense Ministry. Technically speaking, this is the first time I see such a reportage. I mean, it's professional, pretty more or less. It's way better than the videos that they published previously in the past years, and it gives good impression, not only especially for the Syrian people, those who are watching, and it gives also sends messages. It seems this is a message to the United States, and you have seen the focus of the drills were all like about crossing a river, and this is aimed at the American occupation forces in the eastern shores of the Euphrates. But the real question is, has the Syrian Arab Republic have the capacity to launch such an operation against it? In my opinion, it's too early to speak about a military operation, an offensive of this sort and of this size against an occupation forces like the United States, especially that nowadays the tensions between Russia and the United States is at the peak levels, and it could turn into a nuclear war at any moment. So launching such an operation will definitely, on an international level, I'm saying it could crumble things more. And at the same time, the Russians are busy with the Ukraine war, but at the same time, they are sending such messages to the Americans, which surprised me. I don't think there will be such a military operation soon in the near future. But whether or not the Americans are going to withdraw from it, this is out of question. This is just my personal observation. The Americans will withdraw, whether through a military pressure on them, or they're going to withdraw because they cannot sustain their small military posts, I would say, in that part of Syria. And for Syria, this part is very, very important, because for the first reason is there is no territorial integrity and sovereignty for Syria without the eastern shores of the Euphrates. The project to divide Syria on sectarian and ethnic basis starts from the eastern shores of the Euphrates by giving the Kurdish militias, the separatists of them, a very rich territory, rich with oil and wheat, and deprive the other 50%, the bigger part of Syria, from the 50% of their resources, right? And the second thing is it's an economically very important for Syria, and you can generate lots of finances from there, whether through the oil or through the agriculture from that side, right? So this is very important for Syria. I'm sure they're determined to liberate it, but the circumstances have to become mature enough to launch such an operation, and I don't see it now in the near future. But this is my opinion. What is your opinion? This is very important. Maybe you have a different opinion. Maybe you think the Russians are now trying to clash with the United States in every geography. Like you can see some now, of course, the tensions are high in Ukraine. You can see the tensions are becoming high between Serbia and Bosnia. And Serbia is more leaning into Russia, despite, like, I received some comments saying that Vučić is not really like pro-Russian, but still the people there, I would say, pro-Russian in Serbia. And in the case of Taiwan, Russia is supporting China also. And you can see that Pelosi is, she wants to visit Taiwan, and the Chinese are threatening with military escalation. And this is backed by Russia too. So I don't know. Do you think it is now that the Russian and the Chinese think that it's time now to end the American empire? And if they want to do it, they have to kick also the American occupation forces out of Syria, right? So what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. I've been your host, Keo Kalmasian of Syriana Analysis. If you're new, please consider subscribing. It really helps me. Also, click the like button. It's free, guys. And if you want to support my work, there are so many ways. You can become a patron, for example. You can become a premium member, or you can just click on the super like under this video and support my work. It's really helpful for me to continue and bring to you a material like this, which is educational for the Western audiences regarding what's happening in Syria and also in Ukraine. We're focusing also on Ukraine. So see you next time.